I'm Savannah Smith, and this is Just Football, where we will be covering local high school football, college, your New Orleans Saints, and much more. I'll bring you exclusive interviews with interesting people and some key players in our community. You can catch the show every Tuesday and Friday at 8:30 on WGUD, as well as the Facebook and YouTube page. Hey guys, welcome to the show. My name is Savannah Smith and this is Just Football. All right guys, so week 4, I want to start off something new for you guys. We are going to have a new segment called the Inside Look. What I mean by that is, the past 3 weeks I have been following around teams, getting interviews with coaches, players. However, we're gonna do this Inside Look with an individual athlete. And my first athlete that I will be doing the Inside Look on is Shannon Briggs. Hey Coach.
Hey.
Let's talk about one of your players that is very diverse, Shannon Briggs. He plays drums and he plays football, and from my understanding he's been doing that since the 7th grade.
Yes, I've coached him for the past 2 years on the offensive line, and as long as I've been here, he's had to juggle band and football the whole time, and his academics. He's not too shabby in the classroom either.
Right. Tell me, what kind of athlete, let's start with just his athleticism. What kind of athlete is Shannon?
Shannon, he's a good athlete. He really is. He moves well. He's got good hips, good feet. He's smart on his feet. So he's a headsy player. He's not your biggest guy out there as far as offensive line goes, but he knows how to use leverage, and he knows, he uses his quickness to his advantage.
Cool. I was talking to his percussion leader today at the school. He said, Shannon gets in there, gets his job done, doesn't complain, and he's a good leader. Would you say that Shannon is one of your leaders on the team as a senior?
Yes, he really is. Every year, I let my guys, my offensive linemen, vote on what we call our top dog, and as far as offensive line goes, and this is strictly voted on from all the offensive linemen, and twice now he has been voted top dog on our offensive line, and that is from leadership, that is playing effort, the whole 9 yards. And he's been voted twice already to be the top dog of this offensive line.
That's awesome. Coach Ross, he could have picked anybody, but it seemed that, Shannon kind of rolled off the tip of his tongue. That was one of those players that he had in mind for a project like this. So I look forward to seeing what Shannon does throughout the rest of this football season, but even after that, he's excited for scholarships for college. He's mentioned his college scholarships as well. So I think he is going to be one of those kids that is an all-around athlete. He's a well-rounded human being, and that is what I want to showcase.
Yes, well, Coach Ross did pick a great one to do that.
Is there anything else you want to say about Shannon?
I just applaud him as a person. I really do. He's one of those guys that is hard on him, but he does juggle his academics and his music and sports, athletics, football, and he does a great job with that. And really and truly, in that aspect, I look up to him.
That's awesome.
because he's taught me how to do some things, in that aspect of juggling my time, and he has to do it day in and day out.
I was watching him today as he was at school getting his drum equipment ready, and he seemed like he had a lot of friends in the band. He seemed like one of those guys that doesn't ever meet a stranger.
Right.
And I've definitely felt that energy from him as well. So, well, I won't keep you much longer, Coach. I thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for having me.
I started playing football back in 5th grade at Oak Grove. I played flag football. My mom didn't want to let me play tackle football. Played there for 4 years. Then we had to move to Ocean Springs. Then it just took off from there.
Yeah. What did you guys move here for? Work?
Yeah, my dad got a job.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you kept up with football. You joined the band. Tell me, going into football, was that something that you immediately had love for? Is that something you wanted to do and you wanted to continue doing?
Yes, I've always loved the sport.
Right on. What's your favorite position?
Left guard.
Yeah? Okay. I saw them moving you around out there on the field, so that's good. That's good. So going into your senior year, I talked to some of your coaches. They say you're a great leader. They say you are one of those kids that is always pepping other kids up, giving them those pep talks, giving them that positive energy, that good attitude. What does it mean to you to be a leader?
It's a very special thing. The team votes every year on the top dog.
Okay, what's a top dog? What is that?
It's a leader of the line. Everybody respects him.
Cool.
And you lead the team out on the field, being in meetings, just being there.
Your mom told me you have straight A's right now. Is that true?
Yes.
See? Cool.
Bouncing that for 4 years. It's been a challenge. Coming home on Tuesdays, maybe like 9 o'clock, then probably have a test the next morning. Wake up early, study for the test, and then still able to make the good grades if I need.
Gotta make the grades to play, right?
Gotta make the grades.
So going in, you're a senior this year. First semester's almost finished. You're starting to look forward into college, getting some scholarships. What's gonna come out of that? You're gonna go a band route, football route?
It all depends on how the season goes. For me, I plan on auditioning for several colleges during the spring and hopefully getting scholarships.
Yeah?
And getting accepted.
Where have you applied for?
I applied for Jackson State and Southern University in
Mhm.
Baton Rouge.
Cool. What about Southern Miss to the Top? I see a bunch of that stuff in your house right now.
Yes. That,
Maybe later on.
Yeah, ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to go to USM.
Miss Tia, let's start bragging on your son for a second. Let's do that. Tell me what kind of man Shannon is.
Shannon is very respectful.
Mm-hmm.
He's a gentleman. I think we've taught him well. He's my baby, so I'm that mama bear. If anything goes on, then I'm there to fix it. His thing is, I need you to do your mama thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, but he's matured a lot. He's getting ready to go to college, so we're trying to make sure he's more independent. He's a little funny and goofy at times, but
I can see that.
He's lovable.
He is.
He is, yes.
He's very respectful to
Yes.
me, to his peers, and I've noticed that, so good job on that.
Very important.
What's some of your best memories that you have of Shannon? Doesn't have to be about football. This could just be about the family.
Taekwondo when we were in Jackson, he wouldn't.
Oh, he was in Taekwondo?
He was in Taekwondo. Trevor has played baseball.
Mm-hmm.
We tried basketball. We decided that was not his sport. We did Taekwondo. He went and competed in competitions.
Cool.
He didn't win because he didn't want to hit the little girl. So he was going against a little girl, and he just wouldn't fight back. You know, the way he was brought up, and we're like, no, this is a competition, and he just wouldn't do it. So she won.
Aww.
But I mean, I guess it's a good thing. For he had his reasons. So okay.
Shannon, tell us what your mom means to you.
She's everything. Being there all the time. Getting off the plane at 5 o'clock, in the car by 6, there in the stands at 7, ready for kickoff.
All right, Mr. Briggs, tell me, in your opinion and your words, what kind of man you have raised.
I think we've raised a young man that's respectful, has a love for family, has a love for God. I always say things that he can be if he grows up to be a good man, a good Christian man, and is a good father and a good husband. I think we've done an excellent job. So.
You know, what are your expectations of your son?
I want him to do whatever it is that's going to make him happy. I want him to. He has to go to college. But I want him to choose a profession that he's going to be happy with. Don't just choose it just for money. You can make a lot of money and be just as unhappy. I want him to be happy in whatever profession he chooses. Do it for himself and be able to support himself. Because one day I hope to have a daughter-in-law and some grandchildren. I hope he's able to take care of them. So that would be great.
Shannon, your parents seem very proud of you. You know, your dad has expectations just like any parent. What is it that you hope to do for them?
Once I get into a career, I plan on buying them something nice to repay for. Thank you for letting me live in your house. Thank you for letting me eat. Thank you for letting me drive your truck. Paying gas sometimes, and just thanking them.
What are some of your memories of this amazing support system that you have?
Traveling the world, going to Laurel over the summers, hanging out with my aunties, my nana, and hanging out with cousins, just enjoying family.
It's important to you guys, I can see that.
I'm the sister bear.
Sister bear, I love that.
I would say that. Like,
Okay,
if you mess with him, you mess with me.
right,
That's my baby. Just
Right.
like that's her baby, that's my baby.
right.
So if something's wrong, I'm gonna know it before they know it. Basically, I'm the inside. Like, I know certain things they tell me, they won't tell him. Certain things he tells me, we won't tell them. So I'm basically in the middle of everything.
Which is good, that's where you need to be. What was it like growing up? What was childhood like with Shannon?
Oh my gosh, we fought. Like, we never liked each other when we were little, which is weird because that's like my best friend now. I used to be a doctor when I was little. So he has a scar on his back because I was trying to make him a belt. So I cut him, but then I went and found the Neosporin in the bed. I was like, don't tell mama, don't tell mama. But he ended up telling. But I don't know if we got in trouble, but I tried to make it better, so that's okay. So now he has a scar and it's a memory now.
Was Shannon a shy kid?
Yes, Trevor didn't like to speak to people. It wasn't like a funny acting way. Nobody spoke to him, he just didn't speak. He was always to himself, always quiet. So you'd have to push him like, come on, Trevor, like, let's go do this. Come on, Trevor, let's go do that.
No, I feel so fortunate and blessed that Shannon, he's grown to be a nice young man. At one point when he was 5 or 6, when we moved to Ridgeland, he had a partial drowning. So they call it a partial, but they had to resuscitate, ambulance, all of that. That's one reason I think I'm so protective of him is for that reason. But just that, it's just an experience as a parent you wouldn't want to go through. But I think that, God left him here for a reason, and we try to make sure we tell him that you're here. He didn't take you, you're here for a purpose. And it's important that you pray and you find out what that purpose is and you walk in it, and you'll have a successful life.
Well, thank you so much to the Briggs family. I appreciate you guys letting me get an inside look onto his life, but your life as a family. And I really appreciate it, and I love the bond that you guys have. Hey guys, welcome back. That was your inside look on Shannon Briggs. Inside Look is brought to you by Greater Home and Auto. Hey guys, welcome back. You know what time it is. Let's talk NFL. We're going to talk about what's been going on these past couple of weeks, and we're also going to talk fantasy. Here to talk with me is Michael Bryant.
Hey, Savannah, I appreciate you bringing me on the show. It's great to be here. Let's get right into it. We got Drew Brees and the Saints. He's out.
Right.
They're saying 6 to 8 weeks. He had surgery on his thumb, and if it depends on what they do. If they don't put him on the PUP list, then he can come back in 6 weeks. If they put him on the PUP list, he's out for at least 8 weeks.
So, 6 to 8 weeks. That's a long time. And what actually happened with his thumb? What did he do to it?
I'm not a doctor, but it looked like he tore some ligaments in his thumb. You know, after he hit the hand of that defensive player, he went to the sideline, tried to pick a ball up, and he could not hold the ball. So that's pretty bad for Drew Brees. You know, the Saints are fortunate. You know, they have Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill backing up the quarterback position. You have Alvin Kamara, you have Pierre Thomas that are out there with the deep threat, the short threat. It's just got to be, who does the Saints want to pick up? Who do they want to play at the quarterback position? Now, when Brees hurt himself, Teddy Bridgewater went in immediately.
Right.
A lot of people kind of didn't like that.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to see Taysom Hill, but they got to understand there's a roster issue at this point. You can only activate so many positions per game.
Right.
So who we see this Sunday could be completely different. You know, I think, Teddy Bridgewater, last time he played in a full season, he played the Vikings in 2015, he went 11-5. You know, if the Saints can win 6 of the 8 that Drew Brees is out, they're still going to be in contention for the playoffs. So, the fact that this happened in week 2, this is not a huge deal for the Saints. It's hey, you know what? You've got 16 games. If you're out for half of them, hey, that means you just got to play that much harder when Drew comes back.
Right.
So, that's what's going on in New Orleans. Obviously, everybody here is Saints fans. Let's see. Who are we going to see Sunday?
Everybody but you, right?
Everybody but me. No, I'm not going to Sunday. No, y'all won't see me on Sunday. So, did you maybe want to do a poll? See what people think?
A lot of people, even on the Facebook page, a lot of people said, do a poll, see who people would rather see, Bridgewater or Hill. So
I'm gonna go ahead and say mine. I'd like to see Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay. What? Compare the two.
Bridgewater's the deep ball threat. Okay, Taysom Hill can play any position. He can play tight end, he can play wide receiver, he can play running back, he can play quarterback. Why tie up somebody who's so free at just one position? Teddy Bridgewater can throw a ball as fast as Drew Brees can.
Right.
He doesn't have maybe the finesse of Drew Brees, but Bridgewater can throw bullets. Well, you got Michael Thomas out there. You throw Michael Thomas deep, you put Alvin Kamara short, you have the deep threat and the short threat. You can't lose.
He's your man.
So,
okay.
Who's your pick?
Well, I like Hill. I do. But like you said, why tie someone up to go for one spot when he can do more?
You're right. So let's move to Big Ben. That's
All
another
right.
player.
Man, what's going on with that?
Well, Big Ben
he probably feels like his life is over. A lot of people probably think the same.
Drew Brees and Ben are about the same age. They're in their 40s. So Ben had a shoulder injury, and he had to go out. He's out for the season. So a lot of people are saying, is it time for the end of the Steelers dynasty? Is it time for Tomlin and Roethlisberger to finally go and then them start rebuilding the team? Think about it. They've lost Le'Veon Bell. They've lost Antonio Brown. Now they're losing Ben Roethlisberger.
Is he done?
He's out for the season. Yeah, he's not coming back this year.
But, do you think this is going to be something that he's not going to be able to come back from
Yeah,
next season?
I think Ben's over 40. So, you got a lot of old-time quarterbacks that are still in the league. You had Andrew Luck, who was 32, who couldn't take it.
Right.
He was hurt all the time, so he said, man, I'm out. You got Tom Brady and the Patriots. What happens if he gets hurt? Is he going to come back?
Right.
But I think it's the end of the Steelers dynasty. I think the steel curtain has finally fallen. As much as I hate to say that for all you Steeler fans, but this is it. I think Tomlin and Roethlisberger are done, and I think it's time for the Steelers to go back down to maybe winning 3 or 4 games a year until they can rebuild.
Man. Well, let's get away from injury. Let's stop talking about the sad stuff.
Oh, you want to talk about good stuff?
Yes.
Let's talk about the Patriots.
Oh, come on.
Come on. Now, look, wait a minute. Now, as many people, I don't understand why people here hate Tom Brady.
I don't
He's not
hate
in the
Tom.
same conference. They don't play each other unless they're in the Super Bowl.
You're right.
Okay? So it doesn't matter.
I don't hate
But there's
him.
there's some talk starting about a 16-0 season. And it hasn't been done. It's been done one time by the Miami Dolphins, and they lost when they got to the Super Bowl.
When was that?
73? It's been a long time ago,
Long
okay?
time.
But think about the weapons. You got the GOAT, Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, most achieved.
Mm-hmm.
You have Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon, Antonio Brown,
Man.
Sonny Michel running they shut out Miami at home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
They
yeah.
couldn't score.
Right.
They covered the spread by almost, I think the spread on it was 14 points. They almost doubled the spread.
Let's talk Antonio.
Okay?
I mean, other than my fantasy team, I'm fine with it. He'll still put points on the board, right?
As long as he's playing, yes.
long
He's
as
going
he's
to
playing.
he's going to put points on the board. But I mean, the problem that you run into in a fantasy aspect with Antonio Brown is that you have Julian Edelman, you have Rex Burkhead, you have Josh Gordon, you have all these other players. I mean, the Patriots are known for pulling somebody off the practice squad, putting them into play in week 6, and making a superstar. That's how Julian Edelman came about. So I mean, as long as Tom Brady's throwing the ball and as long as they're putting up points, you're okay with Antonio Brown. Julian Edelman and Tom Brady have a connection. They've had it for 3 or 4 years now. Tom Brady and Antonio Brown haven't put together yet. Yeah, they made a point to throw a touchdown to Antonio Brown in the first series of the opening game in Miami, but that's fine. But it's what else is going to happen with him? That's got to be your biggest thing. So you need to have a backup for him.
What else is going to happen with that guy?
You just never know.
I'm over it.
We'll just see what happens. So what about Lamar Jackson?
What about him?
Well, he replaced Joe Flacco in Baltimore. Flacco went to the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
And in an opening game, it was against Miami. They put up 59 points. I mean, they literally took Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson had 5 touchdowns and I think right at 400 yards.
Right.
And they pull him out of the game and then put the RG3 guy back up in there because they were running the score up on him so bad. Well, everybody thought, hey, it's just Miami, right?
Right.
That Miami's horrible this year. They turned around and did it again this week. Lamar Jackson, I think, had 3 touchdowns and 300 yards. I mean, where'd this guy come from? Is Baltimore back on the map? For the longest time, you had to beat Baltimore to get to the playoffs and to get to the Super Bowl, just kind of like you had to beat the Patriots. But did you see the Titans have the fire on the field?
Yeah. I
Did you see the fire they had on the field at the Patriot game?
I was watching a clip of that, and you could see this kid behind the fire, and he's just distraught because he thinks the game's over.
I
Probably.
mean, I think was it a Mr. Fan that was on fire? I don't know what it was.
I thought it was camera equipment, but I think it was something on a rolling.
It was definitely on a roller. I thought it was a rolling misting fan, but the game's got to be delayed because we had an electrical malfunction and this thing's pouring flames out on the field.
The game was literally on fire.
So, as far as my fantasy team goes,
Yep.
I have Cam Newton as a quarterback in one of my leagues. He had the Thursday night game.
Who else do you have? You have Elliott.
I got Elliott, Gurley, and Chubb, and we'll get to that. But did you see how Cam Newton was dressed after the game? He looked like my grandmother that was going out in the rain on a Sunday morning. What is up with this guy?
Hey man, if one person can rock something, it's gonna be Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying? But
it is what it is. So
what are you guys' thoughts on Cam Newton? Let
maybe
us
that
know.
should be another poll for you.
Oh, good one. I'll put that on the
Put another
Facebook page.
So we want to discuss game of the week this week for our fantasy football league.
Oh, yeah.
So
let's do that.
our game of the week is Ed Layton, Londo Mutt.
Okay.
He's going to be playing the Dr. Hoffman, the chiropractor. So they both they're projected to score about 1.5 between each other. The problem is Hoffman's got a lot of hurt players.
Right.
They're questionable and they're somewhat on underperforming teams. I think Ed Layton's got the advantage here. All of his players are going to be ready. His only questionable one's going to be Christian McCaffrey for the
Right.
Carolina Panthers because of who knows what Cam Newton's going to show up. You never know.
Let us know your thoughts on your fantasy teams and NFL. What you got? The NFL and fantasy portion of the show is brought to you by CB's Jamaican Jerk on Washington Avenue. Hey guys, that's our show. I'm Savannah Smith and this is Just Football. I hope you guys enjoyed this segment of the inside look on Shannon Briggs. If you guys have an athlete that deserves recognition, let me know. Like, share, comment, and follow the show. Thanks again. This is Just Football. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure you comment below and let us know what you want to see and who you'd like me to interview on the Gulf Coast. Be sure to like, follow, and share on our social media pages. Thanks to all of the coaches, players, and sponsors that make this show possible.